turn that around, and we are live. Hi everyone, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come in. It is day 9 of Create with Gina. Initially it was called Art Break, but I changed the name as I announced in the previous video. So now this is day 9 episode of Create with Gina. So come on in, I will give you all a few moments. Let me just get everything all set up here. Now in the best case scenario, anxiety is usually short-lived, right? But I think that we're in a time period right now where anxiety levels are kind of through the roof. You know, schools are closed indefinitely. People are laid off from jobs or had to shift to working at home. There's just so much stuff that's changing and so much that's up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen a couple of weeks down the road, a couple of months down the road. So anxiety levels are kind of high right now, right? So we don't know what's going to happen. So anxiety is kind of up there. And in most cases, it would be, whatever situation was or event was causing our anxiety levels to be higher than normal. Usually those are short-lived and, they come and they go. But here we are with this particular virus kind of looming around. We don't know who has it. We've been pretty much quarantined. And this is not one of those short-lived events. We're hoping that it's going to be, but chances are it's not. And the effect that it has on our lives is, a lot more disruptive and seemingly abnormal. However, I would like to think that this is a perfect opportunity, even though our lives have been so disrupted by having, kids are at home indefinitely based on the fact that schools have been closed. And I think this is an opportunity for us to kind of reinvent ourselves and reinvent our lives. And that's one of the things that we discussed yesterday in day 8 was, let me grab this. We created a snowflake and talked about our unique individual qualities, and we wrote them onto our own personal snowflake. So I want to share mine with you. I did take a picture and post it below as well. But on it, I've put on everything I think I'm good at, all of my unique qualities. They're all on there. So if you want to go back and do day 8, feel free to do that. It is recorded, and all you have to do is search for Create with Gina. So what we are going to do today is build a little bit from what we did yesterday. So if you weren't here yesterday, you can still do today along with us. You don't have to go back and do yesterday's first. But if you do want to, kind of builds on each other. So what are we going to do today? I think if you saw the post, we are going to design what I like to call our comfort castle. Okay, based on the fact that our lives have been disrupted. So if we could orchestrate our lives from here on out, what would we want that life to look like? Coronavirus has been thrown into our midst. We can't help that, right? But we can determine what we want our lives to look like from here on out. So we're going to design our comfort castle, and I'm going to explain a little bit more detail, okay, what you're going to do. Let me show you a castle. The first thing that you're going to do, if you haven't done it already, is you are going to draw what you would like your comfort castle to look like. Now it doesn't have to be as detailed as I have here. And if you don't particularly want to draw it, there are lots of different images on the internet that you can simply go and you can print one out for purposes of this. And I'm sure that if you have kids at home and they're, finished with school, or even if they're not finished and you want to reserve this for an activity that you guys can do together, that's fine as well. And you can just simply print some images off and do that activity with them. But this is the one that I drew earlier, and I'm going to explain to you what we are going to do with your drawing or printout of the castle once you have completed that part. So in your comfort castle, you can have as many levels, as many rooms as you want, because you are pretty much going to determine what goes into each room or on each level. And I'm going to help you to kind of walk through that. So if you could create the life of your dreams from here on out, what is it going to look like? So you can pretty much speak or draw your life into existence simply by doing this activity, right? So, and then what I want you to think about is, once you have it, how are you going to nurture? How are you going to nurture it? You'll do the drawing, and once I explain to you the next part, how are you going to nurture that for it to come into existence? Because we are at a point in our life now where we kind of have to reinvent ourselves. If you're used to going to a 9-to-5 job and you are not able to do that anymore, chances are, and this is where yesterday's comes in handy as well, you can simply build a new life on your particular unique qualities and gifts, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody has a gift that they can share with the world. So I think we're at that point where we can simply think about the unique gifts that we have to share, we have to offer, and we're going to speak that life into existence from here on out. All right, so what I did, like I showed you, I have several rooms, quite a few different rooms, quite a few different levels. And it doesn't matter where you put the particular levels. What I want you to do is to just simply think about what you want in each room. So now that you've been at home for a while with your kids, maybe you realize just how much you love homeschooling, and that is something that you want to be a full-time part of your life. So how are you going to work that in so that in the future you're a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, right? Maybe you realize now that everybody has been kind of self-quarantined, you're having more family dinners together, and you realize just how much you missed out on having family dinners because maybe you are at work, dad is at work, and both of you are gone all the time. And by the time you get home, you're just scrambling to get dinner on the table. You spend, a few minutes together, nothing really like heartwarming and stuff. It's just, maybe you don't even eat together. Maybe the kids have dinner before you get there, and they're not hungry, or they have something to eat before you get home, and by the time dinner is ready, they're not hungry. So maybe your life was just kind of chaotic before, and now that everybody has been quarantined at home, you find that family dinners are essential, and you're learning so much more about your children. They're learning more about you, and you're really getting to know one another simply by sitting around a table and eating a meal together. So maybe that's one of the things that you want to put into one of your rooms in your comfort castle. What about, think about relationships and what kind of boundaries also. We're going to get to that in a minute. So relationships, family. What about a room dedicated to your finances? Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you were used to going out to work and now you're not able to. Building up your career, finances. Maybe that's a room that you want to have dedicated to that. What about health and wellness? That's a huge thing. I know for me, when I was first diagnosed with lupus, and I think it took about maybe 2 years before I physically could not go to work anymore. But I was always trying to go to work. And then I got to a point where I physically was not able to work anymore. So I had to get used to being at home all the time. At that point, shortly after I actually became a homeschooling mom myself, at the request of my youngest son. But it took not being able to go to work to really get me on the road to determining what is going to help me get back to my optimal health. So I started researching into different herbs and essential oils and other natural remedies, and that's what got me catapulted onto this road to wellness. So for you, maybe you're dealing with lupus or some other autoimmune issue, and that is one of the things that you want to see in your comfort castle. So determine at what level, what room, wherever, it doesn't really matter. It's just one of the things, one of the, I want to say, pillars maybe, that I want you to be thinking about for moving forward to creating your optimal life from here on out. So health and wellness may be something that you want to think about. We talked about finances, your business, your career, family and other relationships. What about in the near future, hopefully once all of this is done, what about different adventures that you may want you and your family to go on? Think about all of that as well and determine what room you want to put that in. Now, what about your intellect? This is the perfect opportunity. Everyone is at home. We're not supposed to go outside. We're not supposed to go, anywhere really. But we do have access to the internet. So what about going on and doing some classes? Maybe there was some topic that you were really interested in learning about. Maybe you're interested in learning about essential oils. There are lots of free YouTube channels that discuss, essential oils and their uses. There are lots of free courses that are being offered right now. So whatever the topic is, do some research into it and take the time that you're at home and really dig into that particular topic that you want to learn. Maybe you discover that it's something you really, really love and it's something that you're really good at, and in the future maybe it's something that you'll actually build a career on. So you never know. We take time like a moment like this and really go inward and use this opportunity to redefine and reinvent yourself. That's pretty much what this whole, I don't know quite what to say, this shaking up, I guess, that's really what it's allowing a lot of people to do, is to reinvent, reevaluate their life and see what happens from here on out. What about your spiritual life? I know sometimes it takes some major thing to kind of get everybody on that road back to, I would say back to God, back to whoever or whatever you consider God to be. But maybe your spiritual life needs a little bit of work right now. So maybe that is what one of your rooms could represent, is really taking a close look at your spiritual life and seeing where you need a little bit of redevelopment, right? What about, let me see, I mentioned boundaries, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, because I think there has to be boundaries set up if you want any of these particular pillars to be successful. You cannot just focus on one thing, because then something else is going to suffer. So we can't put all of our efforts into relationships, because then your financial part is going to suffer. You can't put all of your energies into the financial part. In other words, going to work, making the money, and not put any energy into your relationships, because then your relationships are going to suffer. So there has to be, you have to strike a balance somewhere, and that is the hard part, is striking that balance. But if your energies are put equally into all of those areas and developed well, then you can actually have the life that you've always dreamed of. So I think yesterday I mentioned a movie called Joe versus the Volcano, and I think it's a a very good movie that everyone should watch. It stars Tom Hanks, and I believe Meg Ryan is the female, um, played the female role. So take a look at that movie, and I think at this point in the game, I think everyone should be watching. It has a lot of lessons. I won't go into all of the details right now, but a lot of lessons related to the one I did yesterday about with the snowflake, and then certainly today's as well. So also think about the different kind of entrances that you're going to have on your particular comfort castle. What are they going to represent? Are you going to have doors? Is there going to be a drawbridge? What is it going to represent? What about windows? You're going to have windows, curtains. I know a lot of people have different things. So what kind of entrances are you going to have? Doors, windows. Ooh, maybe you're going to have a secret tunnel that only you know about, or maybe only your family knows about. So think about all of these different things and what they're going to represent, okay? And I believe that is everything that I wanted to mention. So what I want you to do is, once you have your particular comfort castle drawn or your image drawn, then go in and, based on the information that I just mentioned, start assigning your rooms the different pillars that you want them to represent. And I'm going to complete mine as well. This is just a drawing, but I will go in and complete mine, and I will post my image in the comment section below. And I would love for you to do the same once you have completed it. And please do get your kids involved in this. It doesn't matter how young they are. If they're young and they can speak, simply ask them questions, and the responses that they give, you can certainly add it into your comfort castle, because the comfort castle is not just for you, it's for your family. You can assign one room that is just yours, of course, if you want a self-care room, and that's your room that you're going to, pretty much disappear into a few minutes or an hour a day, then certainly include a self-care room. But your comfort castle is going to be your design. You are going to be the architect of this, but remember that you're also designing this for your family, so get their input as well. And if your kids are old enough, have them do one up for themselves. I would love to see your creation, so please feel free to post it in the comment section below whenever you have finished it, and I will also do the same with mine. I hope that you've been enjoying these activities. I think, like I said, today is day 9. The other ones are also recorded, and all you have to do is search for the hashtag Create with Gina, and you will find days 1 through 8 as well. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 10. Can't imagine we're almost at double digits, and this is going to be going on for the next another 21 days, because tomorrow will be day 10. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and please leave me some feedback. Do let me know how you are enjoying these, and if there's some other topics that you would like for me to talk about, maybe in a whole other series, I would gladly do that, because I do have a few things on my mind that I'm considering doing a series on as well. So if you do have some ideas, please let me know simply by posting them in the comment section below. All right, I will see you all tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing your completed activity sheets also.